Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Nancy Morris, and I'm very excited to be learning with you this semester in diverse learner competencies. So I've been enjoying reading your student introductions and getting to know many of you. Some of you are familiar faces, and so I'm excited to see you in the course. It is a big class, so I will do my very best to ensure that I actively engage in the discussion forums with you all and to give you specific feedback, just as I have in previous courses. But I will do my very best. But 25 it's a lot. So, and I know it's a lot for you all too. It's a very large class, but I'm excited because that means that we get a lot of diverse perspectives and backgrounds and insights to bring to our class discussions. So I introduced myself a little bit to you in my announcement, but I wanted to share with you why I wanted to get into leadership, because that's what I asked of all of you. I wanted to get into leadership when I was deciding on my master's course. I have a master's in education administration, and when deciding on my course of study, I went that route because at the time I was teaching special education, and I was feeling that there were a lot of bigger problems and issues and things that I could see that I had ideas for an improvement on, or that I could do better, or ideas for change. And I felt a little helpless in my position that I didn't really have the power to do that. And so I thought, well, if I go into leadership and administration, that could put me in a position where I have the ability to make those changes and solve those problems that I see need solved. And so that was sort of my why of getting into administration. And so it kind of brought me here into higher ed. I do have my principal certification, and I love teaching this course and love speaking about how leadership and special education intersect and what your role as a building principal would be as it relates to your students with special needs, your students who are at risk, and students who are, diverse learners, we would say. So this course, I know from looking through the discussions, a lot of you are worried because you don't have a special ed background per se. That is totally fine. And many of you are in the parochial schools, you don't necessarily have a special ed program. Again, totally fine. We're gonna look at, through this course, we're going to look at our students as diverse learners. So we look at diversity in all forms, ELL, special education. We're looking at students who just may be at risk, don't necessarily have a label yet. And so all of these students are present in your school system and need support. So we're really going to look at ways to, as far as prevention and intervention and support across the school system. As I mentioned in my announcement, I really encourage you to, in week 1, to look at I posted a video that actually is posted again in week 6, but it gives you an overview of your final project. And it helps explain a little bit about the trajectory of this course. So through this course, you are going to be looking at a school as your case of study. And as we look at each of the topics every week, we investigate them, we research, and we read best practice. You will then take what you learn and apply it and compare it to your school's practices. So I encourage you to use your school that you are at as your case school. But if you feel for some reason that is just not going to work, then you can pick a school outside of your own. But I caution you, you will want to be able to have full access to that school, its principal, and some teachers, because part of your weekly assignments are going to be interviewing faculty and personnel from your school. So if you are unable to do that via email or phone call, that's going to hinder you a little bit when it comes to investigating your school each week. So just keep that in mind. And if you don't have a special education program, again, you will be fine through the course. So to that, each week we follow a typical format. you will have reading to do. You will either have reading through the textbook or other PDFs that I upload. And you will complete what's called a focus guide. And this focus guide is going to be your main way to analyze what you read about and comparing it to your school. So you'll summarize best practice. You will analyze and see if how well your school implements this practice or program. You'll identify those gaps, and then you'll create and identify recommendations for change, for improvement. And that is the pattern you do every week in these focus guides. And what you'll end up doing is by the time you get to week 6, you will have like the first half of your final paper, like the research and a lot of the written part done, because you're doing the analysis and evaluation of your school each week. So you're leading up to and you're writing almost your paper as you go. So when you get to week 6, it's just kind of pulling that research together, summarizing it, making it clear and fluid, and then expanding on the recommendation piece. So the course is technically 2 credits of coursework content and 1 credit of internship. As I explained in Blackboard and in the syllabus, part of the internship hours are tied into course assignments. So the interviews can be used for internship hours. Some of the research and the activities different week can be used for internship hours. But then you are responsible for finding and doing other active hours at your school. Participating in IEP team meetings, participating in the BLEST meetings at your school, working with your principal to analyze data, working with your principal to look at and analyze assessment scores, being a part of a meeting with parents on student behavior issues or academic concerns or needs. Any of those things will work, and I've given you some list of options too in the syllabus and in Blackboard. So the work you're doing fully will be 3 credits of work, and that's how those internship hours kind of build into the assignments, and they kind of work together. I think as far as the overview, from what I'm thinking that is probably good. That's enough information for you to get started. Here in week 1, we have the discussion forum. No focus guide yet, just the discussion forum, and then your data digging assignment. And all that it's actually part of your final project, but I bumped it up to week 1 to get you going and get you started working on it. What I found is sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get this data. And so this will be helpful for you to have and start working on now. If you can't access it all by the end of week 1, let me know, and you can absolutely have an extension. But this will be good for you to have and to be referring back to, especially in week 2. And then you'll need this for your final paper when we put everything together. But you start working on it now. I think that's it for me. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me directly. I respond really quickly to email. I will respond to you in 24 hours. Or post a question to the Ask the Professor discussion forum if you feel that it is a more general question. And I will respond to you as quickly as I can, again, within 24 hours. So I also will be online every night in the evening, and so you can always be sure that you can access me every night. My son goes to bed at 8:30, so I will be on the computer after that. I wish you all the very best semester through this course and your second course, and I'm so glad to have you with me, excited to be learning with you all, and just happy to be back again and working, and I look forward to learning with you, as I said. So that is it. Take care. Thanks so much, and have a great day.